Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop, where I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, yo, I have like a very special treat for all of you in the DFS world, man. What like a darling of DFS right now. Like everybody's talking about this dude in the industry. His name is Rod L. Beard, and he covers the Detroit Pistons and also has a wealth of all-around NBA knowledge. Brother, thank you for coming on the show. What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a whirlwind couple of days just trying to get in the DFS community and get to understand what it's all about. But I'm having a ball so far and meeting so many people, doing some stuff for some other sites and just getting my foot in the door of what's going on in the community here. Awesome.
And by the way, again, Rod Beard, you can go follow him on Twitter at DET News Rod Beard. Yo, this dude's awesome, bro. I'm going to read you one of his tweets, man. One of the most recent tweets. Okay, the pinned tweet. It says, "Here you go, DFSers. That's it. We love them." Like, that's it. That's it. Somebody finally cares about us, man, because we go through a struggle, man. It's so tough for us to be able to know, especially when in NBA, what the roster is going to be from a night-to-night basis. And the fact that guys like you, man, that are on the beat writing for these teams and being able to relay that information to us, that is awesome. And how did you become a beat writer?
Well, I started out in the newspaper business. You start out generally covering high school stuff, and you move up to college. I covered Michigan basketball, University of Michigan for 5 years. And then when this opportunity opened up for the Pistons, then it was, hey, that's the logical next step, that you want to move up to cover a pro beat and everything that goes with that, all the travel and all the exposure and access to the teams, athletes, and everything else is there. So it's just an opportunity, the next step in what I'm trying to do as a career. And cover NBA is something that I just love doing. It's absolutely a ball.
Now, had you played the game at all, or just watch from a spectator standpoint, or?
Now, in Lifetime Fitness, I play. I mean, when I get to the gym and find 4 other people on the side that want to play on my team, we all go at it that way. But not in high school or in college or anything like that.
Okay, well, you sort of like me then. You sort of like me. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Good. Well, yo, a lot of stuff to talk about. One of the main questions that we do have, in terms of you being a guy that covers on the NBA side, like, what are you hearing about DFS and its relation to beat writers, its relation to us being able to know what the news is going to be up to the minute? Is there anything you've been hearing around the industry on the NBA about that?
No, not on our side specifically. I mean, it's and the way that I kind of got involved with it is probably last year or the year before. There was a guy that was asking, how many minutes do you think Ish Smith is going to play? And I'd say that's kind of weird. It's not how many minutes is Andre Drummond going to play or Reggie Jackson. It's a reserve guy. But now I'm learning how big that is if Ish Smith is playing 24 minutes as opposed to 16 minutes. That's all the difference in the world for how people are setting their lineups and what they want to do. So it's something that's really garnered my interest too, is how I can help you guys. Because really in the news gathering and as beat writers, what we have to do is get information out to the people who want that information. So it's no different than some casual fan who's sitting in a coffee shop or sitting in McDonald's trying to keep up with the Pistons or the Hawks or the Warriors or any team. We're trying to get them the information that they need about the team that they like and help them to be informed about it. The fantasy community is no different. It's very much the same of you guys want numbers, statistics. You want to get a sense of how the pick and roll is working and what we see in practice and maybe all of those stuff. So it's very much a cottage industry. You just have a different taste for what you're looking for. And it's all the same information that we do anyway. I write about injuries. I write about rotations and minutes played and things. And my kind of acronym that I made up is the Moet Index, is my own eye test. Everybody goes by their own kind of numerical stuff. I go by what I see with my own eyes, and that generates a lot of the interest from other folks too.
I like that. I use a lot of that for my picks and in our community and the way that we roster guys and we look at it. And you brought up Ish Smith, who crushed last night, jumped off of the bench and went ham. And that's something that we did see in the write-up that you did when you talked about Ish Smith. And that's the part about being in DFS. We need to know not just the first 5 guys. We need to know who's on the bench. We need to know what the coach thinks about that second, third string guy. And that's why what you guys do is so important, so important. And I hope a lot of the other beat writers are going to follow your lead and engage with us a little bit more, because as long as you guys have information, we want it. We definitely want it. So I did have a couple of questions from the community that they did wanted to ask you. They asked, okay, one of them asked, in terms of players and following teams, what is some of the biggest misconceptions that we have? You are so close to the game, and you see the game, I'm sure, a different way than we do. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that the regular general public has in terms of the NBA game?
Just maybe the amount of work that goes into it, that on a typical day, those guys might practice 2 or 3 hours, but then on a game day, they have a shoot around in the morning where they walk through and do all of that stuff. There's a lot of hours that just go into that, and then the film, and then the getting taped up beforehand. It's not just like you and I were talking about going to Lifetime and we just take off our sweatpants and just start playing, maybe stretch for a minute or two. That's a full day for the players where they have, I mean, as you would expect, it's their career, it's what they do. So that day is filled with everything basketball, from the morning shoot around and walk through to game plans, looking at film and what these guys do, and then get to the game. And then right after that, they're jumping on a plane, and very often they're flying 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning that they get to the next city that they have to play for that. So that whole season is a grind. It's not play basketball and then your roster's reset, and then the next day you're at full strength. It's almost like a video game when you play at full strength, and then you don't have to worry about anything the next day. It's a grind, and it really wears down on the players on a day-to-day basis during the season.
Awesome. And you know, to that point, there's something that we like to talk about, especially in the DFS Sweatshop. You know, we represent cities all across the country, a lot of different sports towns. I'm talking from Florida all the way up to Washington State. And what I always try to tell our members is that you live in that city, so you get the news. You know what's going on. When you go to the library and you live in Charlotte and you see Cam Newton at the library smiling, having a good day before game day, you know he's in a good mood or whatever. It could be anything. Like, if you live in a town, you know what goes on. Like, you have a better read on that. And the beat writers really are just an extension, a really great way for us to know exactly what's going on with these organizations, man. And like I said, can't thank you enough, man. Thank you very much. And I have one more request. Would you be willing to break down a game with me in terms of, when we got the Detroit Pistons playing their last game tomorrow night, right? Isn't it the last preseason game, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So if you wouldn't mind breaking it down, this game a little bit with me. I've got the Detroit Pistons taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. What are you expecting from the Detroit starters, or would you need to see some more before you can make that determination?
Probably need to see some more. And I was asking Stan Van Gundy today about what the rotations might be if he's going to start. The thing I keep an eye on is Ish Smith and Reggie Jackson. Ish Smith has had an outstanding preseason, and just the number of minutes he plays. And I don't know if he's going to be the starter, because Reggie Jackson is still coming off that summer where his knee wasn't. He didn't do any basketball activity in the summer, and his knee was healing, and he had the tendonitis last year. So I don't know if Reggie's going to be the starter and play 5 minutes to start the quarter, or if he might play a little bit less than that and Ish Smith plays a little bit more. So again, I like Ish Smith just about every game, just because of what he can do in terms of scoring and assists. Defensively, he'll get you a couple of steals too. Avery Bradley's supposed to be coming back. He had a little ankle issue the past couple of games. I mean, there's a lot of things to like about either of those guys in the backcourt. Stanley Johnson is always a guy who could just pop off and get you 15 and a couple of rebounds, a couple of steals. So there's a lot of different guys who do a lot of different things, and that's one of the things I'm learning with the scoring. Everybody has a different way that they gather their stats and things that they value a little bit more. But Andre Drummond you can count on a double-double from there just about every night. There's a lot of different guys who are bringing different things to the table for the Pistons. So it will be something to watch out for. Henry Ellenson, another guy, I see 4,300 in your leagues, that low-cost guy who could potentially come out and have a big game. Langston Galloway, a guy who had 16 points the other day against Toronto, just completely out of the box with that. So the thing that I see with Pistons very much is that they have low-cost guys who have the opportunity to produce well beyond what that measure is going to be in terms of what the prices are, the salaries are that you're having to use for them.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm going to ask for a sip of the Moet, right? The guy that, from your own eye test, the guy that you've seen in practice, And if it's one person that's not a starter, that's not a guy that we just a casual name that we just know, who is the one guy that you could see surprising a lot of people that you've seen just from your own eye test?
From tomorrow specifically, or just in a general sense?
In a general sense, just in a general sense.
Well, all the DFS folks know about Boban. He's a DFS legend. Eric Moreland is another guy that I want you to keep an eye on because he's going to be rock bottom. But Boban typically plays against traditional centers that don't move around very well. The other night against the Pacers, he played against Al Jefferson, so he's going to see a lot of those times. But Eric Moreland is a guy that they're working in, and he may have a little bit more playing time against more mobile centers. They've talked about John Lure that you got for 4,700. He could be the backup center in some of those situations too. So anytime you're thinking about the Pistons and the center position, look at the opposing center. And if he's a traditional center, then Boban might be the play in addition to Drummond. Or you might look at either John Lure or Eric Moreland as another option there. But I mean, there are just any number of guys that you're going to have to keep an eye on and what they do on a particular night, maybe matchups. But guy starts getting a little bit streaky. Stanley Johnson at 4,400 is that's going to be one that you might play a little bit more often than you think because he's going to have the opportunity with Avery Bradley on the wing to be able to excel there a little bit.
And his three-point shot looks a little bit improved from last year too, Stanley Johnson.
Yeah, that's something they've been working on consistently since his rookie year, is trying to get him a little bit more comfortable. But with him, it's just shot selection and which threes are good and which threes are not so good. And in the preseason, Stanley has looked a lot more comfortable in his shot selection and then in taking those shots. And he's knocked down a couple of threes, and he's looked very, very fluid in everything he's done in the preseason. So that's why I think that's a guy who you'll pick more often than not, especially at that price.
Now, and one more thing, like, can we look at Avery Bradley in terms of opening week, being able to get out there and play? His injury, talk a little bit about that. What's going on exactly with Avery Bradley?
Well, it was just someone stepped on his foot. It was just a very minor thing, and they've been very cautious with all of their guys in the preseason. So it's not a big deal. I think when the season starts on the 18th for the Pistons, he'll be out there. He'll be ready to go, full go, and he'll be their defensive hub. He'll be the guy that they use to shut down the other team's best offensive player, along with Stanley Johnson. So he'll get plenty of run and plenty of minutes. Pistons lost their last 2 minutes played leader last year, KCP and also Marcus Morris. So they're going to have guys play a ton of minutes at those wing positions, and that's looking like it's going to be Bradley and Johnson.
Wonderful, wonderful, man. Well, hey, thank you again so much, the big homie Rod Beard, man. Please do not be a stranger. I'm so glad that you decided to come on, man, and talk with us just a little bit, man. Thank you so much. Anything you want to leave us with? Any parting words for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in trying to get more beat writers involved with things, my best advice is just to try to engage with them. Don't just go with the, hey, how many minutes do you think this guy is going to play tonight? But really get them to understand what your motivation is and that it can be mutually beneficial, that there are so many folks who want this information. It's not just like the traditional basketball fans, but these are folks who need it. And again, be respectful of their time. Don't try to hit them at 6:55 when they might have a story due or when the game's about to start. If you want to try to get that information, maybe the best way is to try to reach out to them at 3 or 4 o'clock or just after practice earlier that day. And they might be more willing to have an open ear and open mind and listen to what you want to know and then give you some more of that information.
And let's start this off, folks, by showing Rod so much love, man. When he tweets something, let's retweet it. Everything he says, let's retweet it. Let's follow his Twitter. Let's go check him out, whatever he's got going on, because this is like the first dude to really like stand up for us and be like, I know these guys are idiots, but let me show you how to deal with it. and he's been dealing with us wonderfully. So please, go follow him on Twitter. Anything he tweets, retweet it. Thank you again so much, big homie, for coming on, man. And you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And hopefully I'll talk to you again soon, man. Thank you.
Hey, anytime you need something, just hit me up. We're good, man.
All right, bro. Thank you, man.
All right.
Oh, man, Rod Beard, big homie. That was dope. Had the homie Rod Beard on. Wasn't that dope? Oh, Sweatshop. You know, hit the insider info now. So that's why we go to Twitter and we retweet and we follow these dudes, man. And we try to, hey, you know how to get it out there. You can't just go in there and grab it. You gotta get it out. You know what I'm saying? That's dope, man. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, man. That is dope, man. That is dope. And it really, and how it all started, man, I just hit him up. I was like, yo, I saw you tweet something, and it said either you play DFS or you care about us. One of the two. He was like, nah, I don't play. I'll come on and chop it up with you. And if you are a beat writer, I will be reaching out to you. I will be reaching out to you because, yo, what people don't understand, bro, the marriage between NBA and let's say FanDuel. Yo, the NBA invests a ton of money in FanDuel. They did a ton of money in FanDuel. As a matter of fact, when me and the homie Sammy McGlure, shout out to Sammy McGlure, when we went to Miami, he was in the live final. We went out to Miami. I sat down and I spoke to like the 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 marketing manager of the NBA. No bullshit. And he was like, yes, we put a lot of money in FanDuel. We like FanDuel. We like daily fantasy sports. We are behind DFS, and we want to make it safe for you guys, so we can do this for you guys. And like just as he says that, like 3 Bud Light models walked up and gave me some Bud Light. Like it was crazy. Okay, it was crazy. So, and the liaison between the NBA and us is the beat writers. So let's not get on their ass and talk shit to them. Let's not do that. Let's treat those cats with respect because we kind of need them. Because guess who does do that? The Sharks. The Sharks got they got them in their pocket. I'm telling you. Telling you. So awesome, man. Awesome interview with the homie Rod Beard, man. That was great. So glad that he could come and be a part of that. And we do have a 9-game slate on deck for tomorrow. First game, we're going to be talking about, well, outside of that Detroit and Milwaukee joint, we've got the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Orlando to take on the Magic. Aaron Gordon went absolutely, completely turkey ham on the last game. LeBron James did not play a good one. He is questionable. I don't think we're going to see LeBron James again until opening day. I've even heard reports that we might not even see him. We might not even see him opening day against Boston. But I think that's foolish. I think LeBron is like too big of a competitor and a one-up guy, I told you so guy, to Kyrie Irving to not play first game of the season. So for me, if I'm going to be looking anywhere in the spot, I'm going to be looking at some of the Cleveland Cavaliers reserves here. I do think we're going to see some starters from the Orlando Magic, guys like Aaron Gordon, Elfrid Payton in this spot at 6.2. I think it's going to be a guy that we can concern ourselves with. Next game we got my New York Knicks at the crib, Madison Square Garden, MSG. Finally, we might see Kristaps Porzingis. I definitely am going to have some Tim Hardaway Jr. We know that against that point guard position, it's really tough for John Wall to stop anybody. He exhibits so much effort on the offensive side. He's not really a great defender. Michael Beasley, man, is questionable. Had a really decent game out last time until he got hurt. That's not a guy that I think we want to, we really want to grab in this spot. Frank is hurt. Frank is hurt. So you definitely don't want to play Frank Ntilikina. John Wall, 8.2, definitely playable in this spot. Anytime they go to New York, man, you can look at John Wall and want to play him. Brad Beal, I'm not against him. Courtney Lee is somebody that I absolutely love at 4.4. He's a guy that I'm going to be taking a look at, most certainly. Now, tomorrow at 5, or later on at 5, when we break everything down, we will be when I'm dropping dimes at 5, we will be chopping up this slate in detail because, of course, I'm going to be reaching out to guys like Mr. Beard and all of the other beat writers around the league. I'll be reaching out to them because these guys have information and they have to know that. All they want to know is that we want the information, and I'm going to make that known on our behalf. Okay, so you got next game is going to be the Toronto Raptors and the Chicago Bulls. You already know kind of what this is, bro. Like, you're not getting cats like Zach LaVine probably won't play. Yeah, there's no reason for him to play here. Bobby Portis, like him. Jerry and Grant, I think is a guy that's going to be in play. Of course, Denzel Valentine being a game time decision. If he does play, I like Denzel Valentine, man. He balled out last time out. Also, you might want to take a look at Robin Lopez at 4.5. On the other side, DeMar DeRozan, yes, give me some of that. Probably not going to see Kyle Lowry. Jonas Valanciunas had a really solid game out last time, 5.6, as did Serge Ibaka. Don't really love them cats. Norman Powell is my play here. Norman Powell, Dillon Wright, some of the guys on the bench. That's going to be my play, especially Norman Powell. Love Norman Powell here. Next game we got is going to be the San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets. We already know what to do. James Harden is starting at point guard. You can definitely roll out a point guard against him. DeJounte Murray, bro, he has been tearing it up quietly, and nobody has been playing DeJounte Murray. Love him. One of my favorite point guard plays on the slate, most certainly. Only priced at 5.2 against the Houston Rockets. He's going to run and get the ball up and down the court. There's going to be a ton of possessions in this game. He's a guy that I definitely like. I could see playing James Harden, but I could also see him not having a ton of minutes in this spot, so you might want to curb your enthusiasm there. But we're going to take a look at what the beat writers are saying, as we approach the lock. Also, you might want to take a look at Clint Capella here at 5.7. We definitely know that San Antonio does have deficiency rebounding the basketball, especially whenever LaMarcus Aldridge sits down. He's a guy that doesn't spend a lot of time in the paint anyway. He loves to play outside by the elbow too, so we can definitely look to Clint Capella in this matchup. Next, we got New Orleans Pelicans and the Memphis Grizzlies. So we got Boogie, we got Anthony Davis. Both of those cats have logged a ton of minutes, and I think they've already proved their point, man. I could see both of them sitting. I really could. I could see both of them sitting. And so I really got to find out what's going on with that before I even, take a chance on rostering either of those guys. Drew Holiday, not a guy that I absolutely love. You hate to play point guards going to Memphis. Marc Gasol, 6.4, kind of like him in this spot. Of course, I'm going to like Mike Conley at 6.2. I don't have an issue there. You might want to get a chance. Might want to take some Andrew Harrison here at 4.5. He's still fairly cheap. Not a lot to love, though, on this side. Just not a lot to love. Next game we got. We talked about the Detroit Pistons here, and of course, man, Ish Smith is a guy that you gotta make use of. Gotta make use of Ish Smith. Like him here. Mr. Beard already told us about Avery Bradley and him just having his foot stepped on. He should be good to go when the season starts. You've got Boban if he starts, is a guy that you might be able to use. Of course, Andre Drummond, if he is starting, is a lock at 7.5. Kind of love Chris Middleton here at 5.7. I do want to get some exposure there. Malcolm Brogdon at 4.8 is a guy that I do like. Reggie Jackson is not a good defender. He's just not a good defender. And I can definitely get behind as Zach Ertz catches a touchdown. Zach Ertz catches one. I can definitely get behind Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Middleton here. Giannis at 9.1. Of course, bro. You can always play this dude. Always play this. And Dennis Smith Jr., man, just left the game. Yes, he just left the preseason game. Yes, Dennis Smith Jr. just got injured. So be on the lookout for that. Next, we got Miami, Philadelphia. Hassan Whiteside against Joel Embiid. That's going to be a really nice matchup all season long. And Luke Kuechly actually headed to the locker room as well. So be on the lookout for that too. Hassan Whiteside, Joel Embiid, bro. That's going to be a really nice matchup all year long. These are very similar plays. Very similar plays. Got high energy guys that really get after the ball. Can block shots with the best of them. Very good rebounders. This is going to be a good one. Do they cancel each other out? Kind of, sort of. If I know Whiteside is going to play and get minutes, I could use him. But we already seen what Joel Embiid can do in limited minutes. Only 7.8 is the price. I could go there definitely. Maybe they sit out. This is their last preseason game. Maybe they sit out. But you got Ben Simmons here. Markelle Fultz, he did sit out the last game. We saw a really nice one from Dario Saric. I wouldn't see why that would be a problem happening again. Kelly Olynyk at 5.5 is another guy that I think that we can use here without a doubt. Josh Richardson, yes, at 5.3, another guy that I like. This is a good one, man. Next game we got is Sacramento and Golden State. This is going to be tough, bro, because they're going to get the doors blown off of them, and you're going to see a ton of run from the Golden State bench. And I'm talking some of the young cats like Jordan Bell at 4.3 is a guy I think is insanely usable. I think he's usable. Maybe some Patrick McCaw at 4.5 is another guy that I think is usable. I'm going to get mine from the bench here, man. I don't think I'm going to be paying all the way up. Because you got Steph Curry at 8.8, he did drop 40 in the game in China, but against Sacramento, bro, this is going to be a bloodbath. It is. It's going to be a bloodbath. Maybe I might play some Clay. Maybe some Clay. Maybe Clay shoots it really well at 6.1. On the other side, Skylar Labissiere definitely is a guy I'm interested in, as is Buddy Hield. I think Cauley Stein could be in play. We've seen that, Golden State does struggle against the center spot. So that's definitely a play that I think that we can look to there. And plus these young guys, man, they're gonna want to get that experience, man. And you got Georgios Papagiannis at 4K. That's another guy that I think could be usable. Last game we have on the slate is going to be the Lakers here. Of course, you got Julius Randle, Kuzma. Brolo probably should be back for this one, but I don't really love him. I will always play Brandon Ingram at 5.1. He is fairly cheap. You got Larry Nance coming off of the bench at 4.3. Is another usable guy. DeAndre Jordan, if he does play tonight, yeah. See, we have to see how this team shakes out tonight, right? Yeah, DeAndre Jordan, maybe some Lou Williams. Austin Rivers is injured right now. This is I just don't love a lot of this the Clippers are bad. The Clippers got bad. Losing like CP3 like changed this team so much. I mean, they look horrible, bro. They really do. They really do. They look horrible. So it's gonna be tough, man. It really is. It is. So that's our first look NBA preview coming up for today. If you're not a member of the DFS Sweatshop, man, that's your fault, man. Go to the website. It is www.dfssweatshop.com. You go there, man. You sign up. That means you get all access to all of our live streams. This is where we build lines, man, and we do NBA, NFL, MLB just is coming to an end. We've got cats that are getting into NHL, golf, like it all goes down, man. So, and you already see, man, yo, we the leader, bro. We the leader. You know what time it is. You're rocking with the very best. You're rocking with the very best. So let's go ahead and get it in, man. This is the homie, the DFS Jerusalem. If you're on FanDuel, keep it 250. If you're on DraftKings, keep it 300. Much love to all of you. Once again, thank you to the homie Rod Beard for coming on the show, man, and blessing us with his presence. Yo, reach out to a beat writer, tell him you love him, thank him for some information, and let's keep it 300. Peace. We out.